Mirror. As we take you on an adventure into social media with Sue Ann of Right Mix for Business and co-host Jamie Shine of Clearly Conveyed Communications. Sue Ann and Jamie invite you to share in all the latest as we find out if social media is broken, what to do about it, and how it changes your marketing today.
Sue Ann and Jamie will explore the latest in social media marketing and cover the topics you need to know.
Hello and welcome. Today on the Marketing Mirror, we have our co-host Jamie Shine from Clearly Conveyed Communications, having a hectic week, but still here, smiling for today's episode. What's exciting with you, James?
I'm here, so I'm excited.
You're
to be
here. It's one of them. And we have today's special guest, Lisa Sicard. And how are you today, Lisa?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Sylvian. Thanks so much for having me on today.
Well, I am so excited that you're here. And today we're going to be talking about Pinterest marketing. And so Pinterest is an AI-powered visual search platform. And it's designed for decisions and not just discovery. Pinterest users are there for ideas and to make plans and to take action. And because it's search more than social, buyer intent is built right into the platform. So today, we are so honored here to have at the Marketing Mirror Lisa Sicard from Inspire to Thrive. And we are live, so please stop in with your questions, comments, and your experience using the platform. But Lisa's going to share her most recent case study for growing notice and sales on Pinterest. Lisa's vast experience in blogging, SEO, and social media marketing management allows her to share from a deeply insightful perspective. Lisa's digital experience from working on her multiple clients and personal digital properties is her real world field for analysis and learning. And so welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
Okay, before we get started, let's see, do we have any house cleaning? Make sure you do like, subscribe, and, give us some comments and, again, share your experiences with Pinterest. To start off, let me share, while we're here on the screen, to get us started, a little bit of the interesting background about Pinterest, because I think that one of the reasons that Pinterest is so awesome is that it offers us the opportunity to look at social, to work in social on a platform that is very highly leaning towards, how should I say it? It's a commercial. It has a commercial side to it, right? Sorry about that, guys. I think I'm on the last screen instead of the first. So let me take this back. Ta-da! My beautiful work with the tech is still lacking. I'll admit it. We're on Riverside, in case you guys haven't used that platform yet, and I'm learning how to do it. I think I'm getting better each week, but one of the things that's of main concern to us today is that Pinterest is growing, and it does offer consumer discovery, and that's what matters for digital and business and digital marketing. And let's look a little bit further at what's going on with that. I'm sorry, I'm losing my page here. Okay. Oh, wrong page again. I did it again. Sorry, you guys. I'm losing it. Hate when I'm losing it. Okay, so as we can say, Pinterest is no longer just a niche visual app. It's scaling. It's growing advertising and commerce. It has, excuse me, a lot of good growth opportunities. Lisa, do you want to take this for a second while I turn off my mic and cough?
Yes. As you can see in the slide, Pinterest has really been growing with over 619 million global users. And you can see even their revenue is up. And it's profitable with scale and cash generation. It's no longer just that niche visual app. It's scaled advertising and commerce platform. So if you've got something to sell, Instagram is Instagram. I'm sorry, Pinterest is where you want to be. I just did an Instagram challenge this morning, but Pinterest is the place to be if you are looking to sell things, and you can see how much they've grown and how much their users have grown as well. It's a 12%. They're still skewed female base. Male adoption has been growing on the platform. This is also a social network that is focused. Gen Z is the largest audience there on the platform. So you can see it's 25 to 34. So that's just something to think about when you put up your pins on Pinterest.
I
And
should
that's
mention that they call it monthly active users (MAU) on these slides, and they call it they name it MAU and UA. They do the initials in two ways, but it means the same thing: monthly active users. Just
well,
so
and
you know.
that's very unique in social media today because, most of the platforms, the average user is trending older. And so that's a big selling point for Pinterest, because so many people are looking for that Gen Z audience or that younger audience, and they're hard to find because they're not they're not on social media as much as other age groups, and so you can definitely find them on Pinterest.
Also, the fact that it is so search related, people are going to Pinterest with an intent. They're not just getting that feed like fed to them, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so um, we want to think about that they do search it, and because they do it as a search engine, they're not really looking at particular brands. So when you're a smaller company, a smaller business, a lot of those searches and a lot of those sales go to what they're referring to as unbranded content or businesses. But what I would say is that's smaller businesses, people like you and I. So it's a active and intentional mindset, not just a scrolling like the other feeds. What do you think, Lisa? Would you say that's the way to put it?
Definitely, especially if you look at Facebook. Facebook is total opposite of Pinterest. Facebook, you have just everything in that feed. It's like a mishmash today. But on Pinterest, you can actually do the searches, and then you start getting the content that you want to see on there. It's all with the AI algorithm. A lot of the
Hey,
network.
let me ask you, well, since you brought up Facebook, if you don't mind, what is the new information that just came out concerning Facebook groups?
They have a new app that you can use just for groups, but it's only available if you have an iPhone. I have an Android, so I'm still waiting. But it came out, I believe, just this past week, like in the past 7 to 10 days. So I think that'll
Wow.
help groups gain a little more prominence. Having an app just for that, so you're not on the Facebook app itself, you're on the groups app.
Had
That's
you heard that, James?
that's interesting that they seem to be pushing groups. Like LinkedIn has gone away from groups. They,
Honestly, I'm only on Facebook for groups,
yeah,
personally.
so maybe they realize that considering all the some of the other decisions they've made, and so they're really going to go all in on groups now.
I think I would have dumped them, but I get some value out of some of my groups. There's a guy named Jonathan Mast who's an AI master. My friend Gord Eisman is insanely talented and smart in video and in AI engineering. He's taking it to places we haven't seen before. We're going to talk about him on one of our shows because he's amazing and he's been showing me new stuff. He helped me work on next week's show already. And then we also have like Jeff and High Def, where those guys are so far ahead of me in the audio, video, AV space that I'm mesmerized by what I see and learn in there. Things that I love when I look at and work ahead of me. I tend to get into groups and things that are beyond me, which means that I can then, you know, learn up. I guess is the way to put it.
Well, and that's funny because that directly relates to Pinterest. Pinterest is really aspirational. People go on there when they want to redecorate a room of their house, or like they're looking for a product, or they basically want to be inspired. So
I'm going to talk about one more thing about Facebook before we move on, if you girls don't mind. And I'm actually trying to pull up the link. This is from whoops, from Kelly Noble Mirabella, and she just made an announcement. I guess Facebook made the announcement, but that your DMs on Facebook will no longer be encrypted.
oh yes.
What do you guys think about that? Have you heard about it? I think it doesn't go into effect. I thought I heard June 5th. I could be wrong. What do you guys know?
I know Instagram did it a while, the end of May 22nd, something like that. So
Yeah.
I started using WhatsApp with some people that I was using the Instagram chat feature with.
I really don't understand it because I feel like that encryption made it a whole like level of personal messaging that you'd expect privacy because you know that none of your social is. I expect to possibly actually delete my Facebook DM, because I think that a lot of things that I do on there are personal and I don't want to share them with Facebook. Kelly said that she fears that they are making this change in an effort simply to collect personal data and information from people to put into the metaverse and into their AI. And that's alarming. What do you guys think?
It's definitely for the AI.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty clear. But yeah, it's frustrating that these platforms continue to make decisions that nobody wants. They just,
Infringe on you.
yeah. And I think I'm really confused by it because, especially Instagram, but even Facebook, have really been pushing their DMs for a while now because it's another way to keep people on platform. So instead of going to another messaging app or to email or anything like that, hey, you can just connect with people, get them into your DMs, continue the conversation. You're trying to bring in new customers or work with people, you can just, bring them right into your DMs on platform. And now they're kind of encouraging people not to do that.
Yeah, they really are, because I'll tell you what, I DM on Facebook more than anywhere else for private conversations. And it is, some of it is about onboarding with customers and making contact with people, but I feel that one-to-one contact should remain personal. I believe that was the point.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm going to probably delete my DM app from Facebook. I know that's crazy sounding, but I really think I'm thinking that way because their infringement's still infringing. Even though, as Jamie pointed out, a week ago, Lisa, you did hear this, that she said YouTube now has taken over your image and all your stuff as their
Yeah.
own.
Yeah, it's all for AI.
It's all for AI. Oh, and speaking of that, again, I'm dropping back to another subject, but I think it's important, is LinkedIn. LinkedIn has made a new announcement just this past week too, concerning their intent to not show as much AI content, to ban or lower seeing AI content. What do you guys think about that? I feel like it's a conflict in their case because they're the ones who kind of were the first that you saw them integrating AI. I remember, I think it was a couple years ago, and it might have been on one of our shows before my hiatus, but I think that we talked about how they started implementing AI and they were changing people's profiles to like fictitious stuff that wasn't
Yeah.
part of their profile. Does anyone,
They,
you guys remember that?
yes, they had some glitches trying to connect people, like linking to people's pages and profiles that weren't correct because it was being fueled by AI, I believe. Um, I think it's I think it's an interesting approach. When they say AI generated content, what does that mean? We've talked about that before on here. Does that mean it's 100% AI? Does it mean it has any AI inclusion? This is going to be wild because It's gonna be interesting to see how they define it.
I'm going to put a link right now in the chat that is from Social Media Today, talking about this issue. And did it go? It didn't. Oh, there it is. Okay. Because it actually says in this article what a contradiction it is. And Jamie and I talked about it last week on our LinkedIn show about how platforms are both AI on the platform side and A on the user side, and where there might be a conflict in that, because where are the real people? Also, this week I just saw a statistic that 57% of all content is AI generated. Interesting.
Wow, that's gonna be interesting.
I should probably put Kelly. I'll move this up, and you guys can take over, and I'll put the link for Kelly's little Facebook ditty about the DM in the chat also.
Especially when we've talked about, I think it was just last week, we talked about how some of these software that are supposed to detect if content is AI generated have been wrong. Like people have created it entirely on their own, and it's saying it's like 87% AI generated, and there was no AI involved. So this is going to be interesting. I feel like
I'm
this is going to generate more lawsuits.
I'm wondering if LinkedIn just wouldn't have a button to put, like, if it's AI generated, like X does that if you're using AI images, you just let it know that it's AI.
Ah,
So I kind of like that because at least for sure.
yeah,
Well, hopefully for sure.
And
Sure.
that goes back to the trust thing that we've been talking about, right? Because people don't know what to trust because they're not sure, is it real? And that is an issue on social media right now, that trust factor that we talked about many times. So, getting back to Pinterest, I'm sorry, you guys, I meant to introduce those topics as we started because they're leftovers. But getting back to Pinterest, the juxtaposition of Pinterest is that it doesn't like proclaim itself as this social media platform as much as it does a visual discovery platform and a search first. And it says that, in that way, it becomes early on the scene. It gives you the trend access and so forth so that you can build around that idea of what's trending before it really hits into full gear. So you get a little advantage on the market, I think, is their perspective on this.
hmm
Oops, I'll let Lisa tell us next. I'm going to take this down for a minute.
Where's the next slide, Sue Ann? You
The
lost
next
it.
slide is getting into some of the stuff, but I think I'd rather you tell us a little bit about. Let me put it to you in form of questions, and you can walk us
Okay.
through what you did, if that's cool.
Sure.
So, let me move this so I can see the question. So, what instigated the idea for some, spring cleaning that you did with your Pinterest boards in the first place?
Yeah, so I've been looking at my stats and they were going way down. And I was like, what's going on? I had pretty good traction with Pinterest. It was actually beating out X a couple times for referral traffic to Inspire to Thrive. And so I was kind of like, something's going on. So one day I finally decided, let me go ask Grok. And Grok was like, gee, you got so many boards. You're all over the place. You're not niching down. Get rid of the boards. Niche everything down as much as you can. And so I began the process and I just started deleting the boards that weren't related. So my core content, my niche, is social media, SEO, and blogging. Anything that wasn't just about everything, I think I maybe like one fun thing. It's something I'll get into in a little bit. So I got rid of a lot of old content. I had like coffee time because I'm a coffee drinker, so I had like coffee pins. I had beautiful home pins when we were moving and shopping for a home. I had all different kind of pin boards that just didn't make sense for my niche. And the one I kept, I think, was cute pets because my dog Stella, she's actually becoming like a mascot for my brand. So I couldn't
I
get rid of
love it.
that, so it does still
So,
relate.
so your criteria was basically business? You like really tried to stick to business in your posting at this point? Like you got rid of
Yes,
all your,
yes. And I actually deleted them. And within a week, I noticed my traffic going back up. And then, I showed some results earlier about the month. And even today, I looked on, they're still really good. And I haven't even been pinning that much. So I was just really like, wow, this is amazing. So I was telling one of my clients about it. And then I learned you can archive. So for her, I archived them, which is different than deleting, because deleting, you can't get them back. I think maybe you can in 5 days, but after that, you can't.
Yeah.
But with archiving, you can always put them back. So for my client, I didn't want to just delete on her, so I archived. And
you noticed the change in traffic to your website kind of right away?
in the traffic on Pinterest, my stats on Pinterest, my impressions, the clicks, everything is
So
up.
analytic upticks right
Yeah.
away. That's
Do you want me to
interesting.
share my screen on that, or?
Yeah, that'd be great. Or I think I have it here if you want me to grab it. Let me see.
Okay, I'll let you see if you have it. If not, I
Is
can
it
share it.
this first one? Whoops. Am I sharing it?
Not yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I actually
Oh,
I saw when you posted that, Lisa, so I tried it just on mine first before I did anything for a client, and it bumped my engagement up.
Yeah.
I archived some boards, not I didn't delete anything, but
is
I
this your
archived some
first one,
boards,
Lisa?
and
Yes, we can see it.
there we go.
Yeah, so you can see the difference there, just, the amount in the impressions, and this was like a 14-day after I did it. And so you can see the engagements, the outbound clicks, and the saves, everything. I mean,
Yeah.
it was fascinating
Did
to
you
see.
notice the difference right away too, Jamie, with your little experiment?
Yeah, I just archived a few things because the longer you're on there, you do start getting really varied. You realize how many different kinds of boards you have. And I just opened my Pinterest app, and like for example, my engaged audience is up 27%. Um,
Great.
so yeah, I'm gonna have to mention that to some clients as well and see what we can do with theirs.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Super
That's why I
amazing.
think the less is best, on the Pinterest. And so I pin maybe a couple times a week, but I also use another program called Q Promote, and you put your blog post and other people share it, and they take, sometimes it's pinned, sometimes it's X, Facebook, etc. And so I do have some pins coming from there, but they're not the most active pins. It's the ones that I do manually.
Oh, yeah.
It's
You know,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. Let me get to my next question. So, how do you optimize the boards for visibility for search?
Well, so again, I went back to Grok, or you could use any of your Chat GBT, etc. Chat GBT, and just ask them, or you can use a tool. I also use the Right Blogger, which they use several AI tools to get the best descriptions for your pins and for your boards. So I did that as well. So I optimized each of my boards because I had terrible descriptions that when I started Pinterest over 10 years ago,
Yeah.
they just, some of them didn't even have a description. They just had the titles.
So
So
this is some of how people should think about their Pinterest content a little differently, right? To get better results. So
you
it's
have,
about the format, the content type. How do you do it on Right Blogger? Can you show us?
yeah, yep, I've actually got it up on my screen here. Let's
Because I
see.
think it's answering those questions about like getting it into the optimized format for visibility and
So
search, and also for, the content type and how you approach it with the copy.
can you see my board? I went to share. I don't know if you can see it. I don't see it on there. Do you see it?
No, I can't.
Okay, let me try that again. Let's try this again. Oh, here it is. Okay, right. Look. Do you see it now?
There we go.
Um,
Great.
are
So
we
they
getting
have
it?
what they call a Pinterest pin generator. So this is for the pins. The boards you can use other AI, but for the pins, so I put in my blog uh, URL here, and it'll take a few seconds. Then you put in your keywords. So this was about Pinterest. I'll just put in Pinterest. Uh, keep it quick here for us. usually do friendly, engaging content, target audience, people who use Pinterest. And it's probably a little slow just because I have we're on here. Usually it's a little bit quicker. I'm just waiting for it to pick up the URL, because usually once it picks the URL, there it is. So it has the image,
Yep.
you have the keyword, uh, the target audience. If you want to put anything additional, you want to make it a little more creative, and you hit generate. And in a few seconds, it's going to give you your pin title and your pin description. So here you go. And
Wow.
so these are more optimized. And you get to pick. They don't just give you one, they give you several to choose from. So
Nice.
that's how I use the right blogger if I'm working on pins. The pin boards, I did use Grok for that. Can you see if I go over to Pinterest? Are you able to see that? No. Okay. I see. I have to change the sharing there for you. Okay.
That's very cool, though.
Yeah,
Um,
that's nice
Go ahead,
too.
Jay.
Did you have a question, Jamie? I'm sorry. I thought you.
No, no, I said
Oh,
that's a cool tool.
yeah. It's very
And why
helpful.
not use any tool that'll help you optimize, right? I mean, some people are like, I guess some people are questioning AI, and we have questions too, but that doesn't mean that we're not for it.
Yeah.
Right.
We, we want everything to be safe and healthy, but we also realize that there's such a productivity boost in committing to and learning how to use the AI properly. I think that's a big deal. So getting back to a couple more questions, if you don't mind, Lisa.
Yeah. I was just going to add about the AI. Sometimes you just have to really be careful, like using it, because it's not always right. So sometimes you may find things. So just don't use it blindly. Is my
Yeah.
yeah. Did you have another question, Suya?
Oh, I'm sorry. I started talking and asking and my mic was muted. Another tech difficulty. So, what I was saying is, do you do anything to promote the Pinterest boards or the content, or do you just post them strategically as possible? Like, do you actually share them on other social, or tell us more about the QUUU thingy? Maybe that's part
Yeah,
of it.
it's called Q Promote, QUU.com, promote, or just QUU. There's three U's in it, .com, and you set it up. It goes to my X, it goes to Facebook page, and it also goes to Pinterest. So I do have some people that share the content, but they're not the right size on Pinterest. So when I create my own pins, I like to do videos, carousels, and just regular verticals. Really do the long vertical for Pinterest, because those seem to work the best. I used to use another tool called Pin Generator, and I didn't like the way some of the things were coming out, and it was just as easy for me to use Canva to create the pins than to edit on there. But for someone who's got no experience and they really need to get some pins up, it's a great tool. It does it automatically. It actually, you can put in the time schedule, and it'll do them all automatic. You can have 5 pins a day. But I think that ship has sailed, and you don't need to post as many pins as you once did. Because I'm seeing my traffic go way up since I stopped pinning all the time.
I'm going to share your entire case study article next as a share on the feed here, so that people can actually take a look at the case study in its entirety. But I think that the beauty of what Lisa is doing, in my opinion, to some degree, is the fact that she's experimenting and kind of, I guess, analyzing results and then evolving from what she learns. And that's something that we all need to do and learn to do.
Yeah.
And I think that because she has multiple accounts to work with, that gives her the advantage of being able to share and experiment within a group, and it gives you a little bit more solid results overall. But a lot of the things that we talked about when I had Lisa on, I think like a year ago, to talk about Pinterest, I think, are still important. So if you didn't catch that video with Lisa, that was another one where we talk about, how you optimize Pinterest because you're matching yourself and your business and what you're good at producing, the content that you're comfortable with that audience and that platform, and how important that all is. Lisa, you went on to do some more pinning, and do you want me to show this other result real quick?
Sure. Yeah.
I
And
have
I want
another.
to mention one thing or two about Pinterest. What makes it so different is all the other social networks today, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, do not like links anymore on the post, right? They kind of demote your posts. Pinterest, you can still have the links. That's the beauty of Pinterest.
Yes. Yeah,
It's
that's
like
nice.
the only platform right now that you can have YouTube, you can have links on the videos, but Pinterest does not demote anything because everything is a link on Pinterest.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It is.
Right there.
Well, and it's such a smart move because so these platforms keep trying to copy each other, and that doesn't make any sense. Like that's their claim to fame, one of them. I mean, run with it. That's what makes them unique.
I agree. Yeah. So I think this
It's
was
amazing to me.
so
It's
that
amazing
will
to me how much.
go ahead,
Go
Suann.
ahead, Lisa.
I was
I
just
was
seeing if
going to just say it's amazing to me how much the platforms don't seem to they really cater to their needs over their user and creator needs. Sometimes it feels like to me.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
But this is a later. This is an updated. Can everyone see the updated stats that Lisa has here?
Yeah, I
This
think
is
it's
the
the last
newer stats, right?
30 days. I'm trying to see the date. Oh, that was actually today, I believe. Today or yesterday. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
impressive.
it's just yeah, I just was in shock
So we're at
actually.
a
That's why
month,
I,
right?
yeah. Yep.
It's
That's
fantastic.
crazy.
So let me give you. I'm going to switch this share here if I can, if I'm good enough.
Yeah, look at your outbound clicks.
I
That's
know. I
impressive.
know. It's nice. It was like, wow.
This is why we want
Yeah.
Lisa always to help us and talk to us because she has got the impressive stuff every time.
Well, I just push the limits. That's what I do. I kind of push the limits to see what will this work? Will it not work?
So here's some of the, I guess, takeaways from what Lisa has been teaching us today, that users are planning purchases. They're looking at projects and events and styles, and they're looking at life moments when they come to Pinterest. They're searching visually, they're saving ideas, and they're actually shopping and narrowing their options. They're exploring trends in a positive, lower drama environment, and I think that's a huge bonus. It's a lot less counterintuitive like you're facing on some platforms where it's not about the platform, the business, the social. It's about some other craziness and division and all the stuff we don't want. We want love and peace around here, so that's how it is. But why does this matter to business? Take it away, Lisa.
It matters because they're able to generate sales from this. It's something that's a lot harder to do on the other networks unless you're paying for the ads.
Yeah.
So you can really save some dollars on just switching up some of your social. But you have to think about it too, as like you say, people are searching. One of the top areas I found that I did well on Pinterest was parental apps. Apps that monitor kids on social media or monitors your kids' phones. And those did very well. And something I could have done better is to promote the affiliate links that I have. Because Pinterest also allows you to use affiliate links. And again, that's something that's even harder to do on most of the other social networks today. So,
Yeah.
and you have to put
I
yourself
love
in the,
that. I love that. I'm sorry. I think it's so great that somebody's letting you put your links up because we really do want people to notice our stuff and our work. I'm sorry. That's part of social. Even though
Right.
social disagrees, that is part of it, right?
Man.
So the other
Well, and
thing is, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean, the other, I mentioned that Pinterest's, but one of their big claim to fames is we talked about the links, obviously, but they really push the fact that because of their platform and how unique it is, that you can really follow people throughout the entire buyer's journey. They're coming on there to discover things, they're coming on there to buy, they're coming on there to figure out which way they want to go. So you really can go with your audience through the entire journey. Whereas it's
How
not as
convenient.
easy to do on other platforms. Look at that.
You didn't even see this slide, James.
No, I didn't.
I guess we're right in the same thinking, ladies and gentlemen. So, and this is Lisa's definite notation that Pinterest is really goes hand in hand with the buyer's journey because of people's intent when they go to the platform, because of their um, desire to purchase from that platform, because the platform was the first to let you click and purchase of all the platforms, and because they're still letting you link back to your properties, which is really good for commerce and building sales, even if you're in service industries, really. So there's a lot of reasons why we would love Pinterest, I would say.
Absolutely.
So funny how you didn't see that slide, and there it is. Let's see what else I have in store. So I think you got to have a plan. You know, we always talk about this thing strategy, right? And we did mention or touch on the future demand capture because you can, you can harvest, you can look into the future trends. They have a lot of information on trends that you can get right through the platform. It's a visual search platform and has that beautiful commerce attached, and it's built in from early on. And you should try to make your creatives that's useful and, as Lisa pointed out, searchable. And we who love the creativity of all of things digital, remember that it can be a creative and aesthetically native beautiful thing. So as it says on the bottom here, for marketers and business operators, the platform edge is not pure scale versus Meta or TikTok, but it is the higher planning intent, the strong discovery behavior, and a consumer mindset that is unusually close to those purchase decisions. That is huge. I think that's the big idea, so to speak.
Well, and pins have lasting power. They, some of my most engaged with pins are not new. So you can continue to get engagement on them, hell, even for years. Like so they don't become irrelevant, 2 days after you post them. So that's another nice bonus for Pinterest.
Yes, definitely. That is. I've had some 5, 6 years that come back and it's like, wow,
Mhm.
that pin is old and it's still generating.
It's that
Still
evergreen
going.
content, and that's
Yeah.
part of when you're doing your audit to see what to keep and not, you're gonna wanna notice those things that continue to bring value and that are evergreen. We have to remember evergreen. But, I mean, I love that it works off of trends, but it also appreciates evergreen. It kind of has a nice balance of both in that way. Also, it's not that ongoing, like fast moving feed that some of the social platforms are. It does act sort of like YouTube with that content hub that stays available. It's a library of your assets.
Hmm.
That's another thing you can clean up too, is if you have old pins that broken links, you may want to clean up some of those old pins, something I need to work more on as well. Even though I got rid of boards, I still got to go through some pins on boards. So,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
yeah.
So Lisa's telling us declutter for best performance, people. Declutter for best performance. Archive as a safer alternative if you're afraid to actually delete. Think of Pinterest as a search engine and use those Pinterest functions for, remember that it's a visual search engine and play with, use that, play with that, optimize that, right, Lisa?
Yes, yes. And another trend I read, and I've been playing a little bit with, is not using so much text on your pins. They're saying the less text on them. But I noticed that it's not many people are doing that. But I started to, so I'll have more on that. I want to monitor that just a little bit more. So
We love updates on our case studies.
yeah,
And also, she says definitely review before deleting to get you the last note off of that piece.
yeah. You can always
um,
archive. Archive is a great
Yes.
option if you're not sure.
Lisa suggests that you use the platform as a vault of inspiration to fuel creative freedom, and that, and using it in that way may also help stimulate your own creativity and ideas for putting up your own work there. That might be a good way to do a little bit of research on your own. Also, Gen Z is a big thing right now. Want to talk about that, Lisa?
Yeah. Again, they really like images. They like the emojis. If you're not using those, maybe in your pin descriptions, you may want to add a few emojis. I was just doing that this morning on that Instagram thing I was doing. So yeah, that's just something to think about. And the language that they use may be a little different, so you may want to consider that too.
That's so cool. You have so many good tips for us today. Also, she says that it doesn't penalize you again for driving traffic off of the platform. And that's, I think, a huge thing. I have some stats for you that I will post from Social Sprout to also back our information today about how it is such a growing platform, right? So, how do we? Let's turn this into an action plan, guys. Let's give our viewers an action plan for what to do. This is a roadmap viewers can take right after the show to follow Lisa's current best practices and also Pinterest best practices. So you can start with that audit, list your current boards, and then think about your niche and your goals. And then she says, pull the last 30 to 90 days of impressions, saves, and clicks for each of those boards to help you decide. And then you would tag those boards. So your second step is making the decision from the audit, where you tag those boards as either keep or optimize, and that's important. So it's not just about keeping it as is. Sometimes it's about evolving and optimizing what you're working with and just making it better, right, Lisa?
That's correct. Yes.
And
Making
then
sure
of course,
everything has a description because I know I didn't have descriptions on a lot of boards. So
that's something, that's a good note. Make a description on your board. That's part of optimizing it. And keep in mind relevance and performance when you're making these decisions. Also, identify your off niche or your dead boards and remove or hide them. Lisa, what do you think if you want to have like a, a personal board section? Like, what do you think about having like miscellaneous and throwing all your stupid crap that you might be collecting for yourself in that way? No?
I
That still
maybe keep it as a
dilutes it.
secret board. Keep it as a secret board.
Secret.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
the secret board you can use too.
Aha.
Yeah,
See?
because that'll take away from your niche. That'll make you bloated. You won't be niching down if you have a catch-all board.
That's very cool. That's good to know because I think because people do want, have their own projects, but if it's interfering with your business output and input and results, it makes sense to do it the way you're saying. I think that's so smart. And she just mentioned again, optimize by rewriting titles, make sure you have descriptions, think about being keyword rich and using natural language. Remember that there's a lot more verbal use on all the platforms of people searching. Also, through AI tools, they're searching. And will Pinterest come up on AI, Lisa?
What do you mean if Pinterest will come up on IA? I'm not sure
Is
what you
that
mean.
is that a search? Is that one of the search? Like LinkedIn is coming. Like LinkedIn posts are actually being seen through AI search, but I don't know if
Right,
Pinterest
right,
is.
right. Yeah, I'm not sure on that. I'm gonna have to find out.
Oh, see, we have more
Yep.
follow up.
You
If
got a
anybody
question there.
knows, let
Yeah,
us know in the comments.
yeah.
Um, And
Interesting.
then identify off niche or dead boards. We just talked about rewriting. Oh, and tighten each board's topic and move the off topic pins. So if you have like related pins to a topic, but they're really, washy or they're far related, you might want to get rid of those too to tighten it, is what I'm taking from that note.
Yes.
Then your step number 4 will be create. Build 1 to 3 new boards, and I've started this because I'm at the beginning, but I've built a new board. So build 1 to 3 new boards aligned with your 2026 with search trends and with your offers. So try to match what you're doing with those trends, and your trends research is what I'm taking from that. And plan a steady cadence of fresh pins and repurposed content. Again, Lisa, I'm going to ask right here in the middle, how often do you think you need to pin like Pinterest? It doesn't seem to be as high maintenance as some of the social platforms.
I'd probably pin there maybe twice a week, 3 times a week.
What's your
I try
experience,
to
Jim?
do, like, for my new blog posts, I'll try to come up with a pin for that, especially if I'm doing a story on Instagram. It's almost the same size, so it's easy to make a pin for that as well.
I find that frustrating now that you mention it. You have to actually do a separate size to get a Pinterest to share on like you have to make a separate size visual. Does that drive anyone else crazy?
Well, I do a lot of Instagram. I try to do a lot of Instagram stories. I don't think I did one yet today. Um, so if you're doing the story feature, you kind of do them together. It kind of helps.
That'll
Yeah.
work good for you, James. What
What?
do you think? How often do you have assume to
I usually pin 3 times, like 3 days a week. Although I might cut back to 2. That sounds like a good idea. But yeah, I try to repurpose like stories when I can. I do pin some stuff that's not like a standard format. Actually, it does kind of well for me sometimes. I think it's just because it's different. I don't do it all the time, but I've had some non-vertical things do okay. So if that's what's standing in between you and pinning, I mean, yes, go with the preferred format, but try some other content, see what happens.
What about video on Pinterest, ladies?
Yes, I actually share some of my YouTube shorts on there,
Yeah.
so that can drive traffic back to your YouTube.
I never even thought of shorts on there. Huh,
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
glad we have you today, Lisa. Well,
because
I'm
they're
just
vertical. They're vertical, just like Pinterest. They're a little bit shorter, but they look decent on there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay, so then our step 4 back to that was create by building 1 to 3 new boards with your 26 search trends and your offers. Plan a steady cadence of fresh pins and repurposed content. You don't have to do a ton, is what we've just learned. And you can use some different types of content and video, which we've just learned. Thank you, ladies. And 5th, measure. Oh my gosh, that terrible final step. Measure. So you want to watch your analytics like Lisa's been doing for 2 to 4 weeks after changes and see how they're tracking. And you also want to track things like outbound clicks and saves to see where to focus and improve your results. What do you think, guys? Everybody out there, go and do a Pinterest cleanup. I'm giving you a challenge to clean up your Pinterest and share your before and after stats with us or with yourself, with your clients. Take the challenge to improve what you're doing on Pinterest. What do you think, girls, guys, friends?
Definitely, and I would recommend to use, if you have affiliate links or if you got certain products to, do the pins for your money makers.
Well, and while you're cleaning everything up, step back and take a look at your boards. You might need to go in a different direction or, add some new boards based on.
I think some of my boards, James, have Canva from like 12 years ago designs, which are like so rookie. I mean, for me, they were great back then. But
Yeah.
now that I look at how far I've come and what I've learned off of people who are more graphically inclined, like my friend Lee, I realized that, you can do so much more with design. So even like changing or decluttering or modernizing some of that would probably be an upgrade.
Yes, absolutely.
So, anybody have any other questions or thoughts or concerns?
Um,
Next week, we're going to go a little bit crazy and give you something else that is going to be totally actionable. We're going to be talking about interest driving content. What is interest driving content? What is it and how do you make it? What makes it interest driving content? And how do we create it for big brand momentum? In fact, Neil Patel says if you do this correctly, you will outdo what you can do in paid advertising through organic content. So that's a game changer, that's a winner, and that's something we probably all need to investigate. So I hope that you'll tune in next week for the Marketing Mirror. And I want to thank Lisa for coming on today with us and being so awesome as she
You're welcome.
always
Thank
is.
you for having me.
I'm trying to get back to where we can see you. I'm just so good at this, Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you next week on the Marketing Mirror. And remember that everything you do reflects your business and brand, and that includes how you do your Pinterest power and pinning on Pinterest. Right, Lisa? Pinterest power for purchasing.
I like that. I like that.
That's so great. We'll see you guys next week, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Take care now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for checking out the Marketing Mirror with your host, Sue Ann from Right Mix for Business and your co-host, Jamie Shine of Clearly Conveyed Communications. Brought to you by Right Mix for Business and Electrocast Media. Thank you.